Good evening, folks. Hi, everybody. I'm thrilled that you're here. My name is Joshua Martin. I'm coordinator of the arts for St. Charles Parish Public Schools. And again, I thank you so much for being here for tonight's event. This is the Jazz Intensive. It has quickly become one of my personal favorite events that we do here because it is like casual and cool and fun, and it's just like such a great event. I love the energy of it, and so I'm thrilled to have you here and experience it with us. Welcome to the Dr. Rodney Arnold Performing Arts Center. If you haven't been with us before, we're very privileged to have this facility and to perform in a space such as this, and to use it in this way. So I also want to be sure that I introduce our chair people who headed up our ensembles for this evening. We have Mr. Mauricio Viana of St. Rose Elementary School, who chaired the middle school ensemble. Yes, absolutely fabulous. Thank you. And also Mr. Ian Giroz over here in the back. He's playing double duty on some trumpet. He's band director at Mondo High School and chaired the high school ensemble. Again, thank you gentlemen so much for the coordination and the talent that you've poured into this event. It is sure to be a treat for all of you. I will hand it over to Mr. Viana to start us with the middle school group and to introduce their clinician. So please sit back and relax. You're in for a great time.
Before we get started, just a quick announcement that we leave on the white table by the entrance should be a bunch of QR codes for the program tonight. Feel free to take a QR code for the program if you need, and I'll move on with that. So this year, we decided to have both a middle school group and a high school group. This is the first year just having a just middle school group with some special guests to help out, but really mostly middle school students. And you know, talking to Aiden and talking to Jeremy, we've been very, very impressed with the work these kids have put in. Absolutely how amazing they've been. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Williams and start the concert. And
Good evening and welcome. As Mauricio just told you guys, this is the first year for the district to have a middle school portion of this Jazz Intensive. Just a real quick show of hands, if you were in the middle school portion and this is the first time you've ever played a jazz tune, or the first time you've ever played a big band, anything like that, could you raise your hands? That's you, one of the goals with this, I'm sure, is to plant the seed of interest in jazz so that when they get to high school, these young people will still be able to do this. It's not a one and done type of thing, because if you do not get introduced to this type of language until you're a high school senior, then how will you be able to develop it? So first of all, I'd like to thank the district for recognizing the importance of this, because jazz is America's music, classical music is Europe's music, in a sense, but this music is our music, and not only is it America's music, it is New Orleans music. And so for the middle school portion, you will hear a very New Orleans heavy program, and that is on purpose, because if we don't play our own music, then why would anyone else want to play? This first tune we're going to play is a classic big band standard by the Count Basie Orchestra. It's called Splanky. This is one of the most classic big band tunes that Count Basie has done. Splanky by Count Basie and his orchestra.
Actually, before we get started, I was just reminded for a second that you're probably all accustomed to doing, like, you know, your regular school band concerts where you sit back and it's quiet, and you might applaud after a song. In a jazz band setting, it's actually customary and expected. There will be several solos throughout the pieces that you hear, and so it is normal and expected, again, for you to clap during that solo or after that solo, like in the middle of the song. Okay, so I will kind of help you by clapping along. You kind of get the idea. But again, part of the etiquette of a jazz band performance or a big band performance is to clap right after they do a solo during the song. Just want to give you all a heads up. All right? Yeah, that's right. Awesome. All right. Sorry about that. That's where people. We'll keep going. Thank you.
You'll get plenty of practice. Right here in the front row, our second person here, on your left. This is Isabella. She just did alto saxophone solo. Please give her a great love. First solo, Isabella, yes? Is that your first? Yeah, this is our first. So, you're basically asked to, on the spot, in front of everyone, while everyone's staring at you, make up your own music. And you can only use these notes, but we're going to put you right on the spot. So, congratulations, Isabella, on your first solo. Sounded great. Let's see if I can do this by memory. I want to make sure we recognize all of our different sections at different points. I will call different people in different sections. So, on your left, tenor saxophone, Terrence. Raise your hand. Right next to him, Isabella. Right next to her, we have a gentleman helping us out from the high school band. Thank you very much for coming to help us out. Then we have Quenisha on the saxophone. We have another tenor saxophone helping us out from the high school group. And down there on the bottom, playing the bass, baritone saxophone, is the Cedric. We are going to continue on with, this is one of my favorite bands of all times, the Tower of Power. So if you're familiar with groups like Chicago, Earth, Wind and Fire, different groups like that, this is the funkier version of them. So if you haven't heard them, go check them out. If you're on stage, and you haven't heard them, you guys, I don't know where you are. Where have you been? You have YouTube, you have your phone. When Mr. Garcia and I had this, we had, if we were lucky, maybe a vinyl, maybe a cassette tape that we had to rewind, and the cassette would stretch out over time. Use the resources. This is one of the greatest horn bands of all times, Tower of Power. You're still a young man. You're going to hear from our tenor saxophone over here, and Mr. Terrence. Who else we can hear? Some lead trumpet back there with Ezra. You're still a young man. one more hand for Mr. Terrence over there on the tenor sax. And Mr. Ezra back there on the trumpet. And then, of course, the one who keeps us all together in the back there, Mr. Warren on the drums. It's hard to believe that everybody up here, I'm getting something up here. It's hard to believe that everybody up here is brand new to this music, this style, this language, and this is only the beginning. Like I said before, this is basically planting the seed of what could be so much in the future. Can you imagine if this is where we are right now? The district could be exploding in a few years with amazing jazz musicians. This next tune, we're going to take you on a little journey just a few miles from here, down in the Treme. Some of you may have heard this if you've ever been to a Mardi Gras parade. Do what you want. Okay? So one of the things that I wanted to make sure we're not just playing tunes when we're coming up here, that they're actually taking some things away. And one of the things that I taught this week was that the main groove that you hear when you hear this tune is called the bamboula beat, and that is essentially the root of all things second line in New Orleans. When you hear the second line, whether you even know it, that is where this has come from. Years and years ago, when on Sundays the African Americans were allowed to go to Congo Square, that's where it all developed. And it's only, maybe 20 miles from here? And it's hard to believe that some people still haven't even heard some of these things, and they still haven't really delved into it. But the bamboula is the root of this next piece, the do what you wanna. And we've discussed so many different things and so many concepts with this piece, and sometimes we forget that, it gets technical, but here in New Orleans, we just play this music because we just want to have fun. So if you feel like you want to get up, I'm not going to tell you no. This music was made for the people. This music wasn't made to be put into a textbook and let me study it for years and years and years. So that's why when you see out on a parade, you see people dancing, because it's fun. So I'm hoping I might see a couple people jump up. You never know what's going to happen. Just do what you want. I forgot to mention one of the most important parts about that tune. So, jazz musicians have what is known as head charts. And what that means is, basically they're just expected to know standard tunes that, they could be anywhere, in any club in the city, and so I can just call these tunes up, and you're just expected to know it. No, you're not. Let me go pull out my little book here in the middle of, Snug Harbor. You're just supposed to know these things. And so, my point in mentioning that is when we started learning this tune, Do What You Wanna, we started learning that completely by ear, because that is one of the most important things that a jazz musician, and really any musician, can develop, is using your ear and knowing when to adjust, and what note is this, how do I need to do this, what do I need to do there. And I would like to commend the young musicians, because that is not an easy task if you've never done it before. So basically they learned an entire tune just from me playing things on instruments, trumpet, trombone, singing it, something like that. Then eventually I gave them some paper so that way they could have some type of reference. Okay, so good job, you guys. Because I like to make sure people get recognized, I like to make sure our soloist on that last tune, Mason. Raise your hand. If I call you, raise your hand, so your parents love you, trust me. Because if they didn't love you, they wouldn't be here. They love you, trust me. Terrence. Mr. Alex. And Felicia. And I believe Terrence did another one with Felicia, actually. And Mr. Cedric over there in Barry. This next tune we're going to play, it's called Remembering Thad. Thad is, he was a trumpet player, flugelhorn player. He had the Thad Jones, Mel Lewis big band. And this tune was made in homage of Thad Jones. This is a trumpet / flugelhorn. It's a slow ballad to feature our trumpets. And we couldn't decide, who was going to get the solo. So everybody's going to get the solo out. I basically broke the chart into 3 pieces, and at different points, each one of them has a chance to shine here. So you're going to hear our trumpet section shining back there on Remembering Thad. One more time for our trumpet section, Mr. Ezra, Mr. Gates, Mr. Gates. Sometimes people think that it's easy to play those slow tunes, and it doesn't have a lot of technical things going on. Many times those are the most challenging pieces because it forces you to really listen in. A lot of good section playing going on saxophones, beautiful sounds in the trombones, everywhere good sounds. This next tune is Bourbon Street Parade, probably another one that some of you have heard. If you know the words, feel free to sing it when we come out with that. The last 2 years I've had the immense pleasure to get mentored, you could say, by one of the greatest New Orleans musicians to ever live, Mr. Wendell Brunius. And on the top of the paper, and you know, when you go buy the CD, it says, this tune is known for being played by Mr. Paul Baumrind, which is true. But the people that never get recognized are the people who actually sit down at the kitchen table and write the music. And Mr. John Brunius, Wendell's father, is the guy who actually wrote the music for this, even though it says Paul Baumrind at the top of the page. So we'd like to recognize Mr. John Brunius. I'd also like to recognize Mr. Wendell Brunius. Special shout out to him for all of his mentorship for the last few years. As you may see in the program, outside of teaching, because that's not enough work, I decided to start a community group, which it's basically open to young people who want to learn how to play this music. They want to learn to be able to play in a big band. They want to learn how to improv, different things like that. And Wendell Brunius has been a beautiful mentor for me while I've been working with these young people in the local area. So let's dedicate this to Mr. John Brunius, of course, and Mr. Wendell Brunius. This is Bourbon Street Parade. One hand for Mr. Ezra back there on trumpet. Isabella on the other sax. Caleb on the trumpet. And the last solo, which is one of the most distinctive things about New Orleans jazz, we had all three of them improvising together. That is a term called collective improvisation. Nobody else really in the world does that. I mean, of course, we hear things now. It's a much more modern world, but all of that stuff, it all came from here. So, you know, people like to say, oh, jazz came from here, came from there. No. This is our music. Please make sure you know that, because if we don't play it, nobody else will ever want to play it. That's why y'all keep trying to steal it from us. We have a little more music for you, and I believe this is when you guys are supposed to be transitioning. Is that correct? Yep. So saxophones and trumpets. You guys know where you're supposed to be. So months ago, when Mauricio, Aiden, and Mr. Martin reached out and they wanted to reach out to me to do this. And soon after they reached out to me, I made a proposal to Mr. Martin about trying to make this a very unique experience for the students in the district. So the next part of this performance you guys will hear, it will be 100% about trying to create a true New Orleans experience. So you're going to hear the song Just a Closer Walk. You will hear it by the trombones performing very slow. This will be what people would consider a slow dirge. This is the first thing that is being played at a New Orleans jazz funeral. And immediately after that, it will go into something you guys may have heard before, possibly. Second line. So the point, again, is to create a true New Orleans experience that you would not get anywhere else. So hopefully we give that to you. And before we continue on, I would also like to make sure I recognize this man right here in the middle, Mr. Garcia. He's also been a great mentor for me, because this is my second time working with him in within a month or so. Because we just worked together in District 6. And, you know, sometimes you don't know what you have until, you know, it's not there. So like when we were done the last honor band, I was like reflecting back, just thinking about how much I was able to just pick up just working with him. So I'd like to thank you for that, especially being able to have that opportunity. Of course, thank you to Aiden, Mauricio, Mr. Martin, and everybody from the district. And without further ado, we have Just a Closer Walk and Second Line.
While Mr. Williams makes his way back, I'd like to point out that the arranger of the trombone chorale you're about to hear is Mr. Williams, who's arranged that. And the arranger of Second Line, which we're borrowing for, is one of New Orleans' names, Victor Goins, who went on to play a long time with Whitney Marsalis' Lakeland Center Orchestra, and returns regularly to play at the aforementioned Snug Harbor. So we're going to do a little closer walk with Dee, and then follow that with the Second Line as soon as we're all set. After those two pieces are done, we'll take the senior high band will take the stage. We'll play a few notes, get tuned up, stretch your legs if you'd like to play. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll start with the senior high band. Now Mr. Williams will address his full horn. featured Corbin Gutenberg on the drums. Show the love back there. Ryan Snyder playing bass trombone, and Nick Van on the vibraphone. Yeah, that was Never Be Another You, if you're not familiar with the tune. It was a great jazz standard by Harry Warren, and it was came from a very forgettable musical called Iceland back in the 40s. The musical did not survive, but the tune lived on as a great hit. And if you're a band director in the audience, that's a great Mark Taylor arrangement. We've got, as Mr. Williams said for the junior high, we have a challenging program, something we've really grown in the last couple of days. We've got some swing music, ballad, waltz, New Orleans, samba, gospel music. Next up is a chart that attempts to capture, in mostly a jazz waltz, the feeling of searching for your soulmate, that person who gets you. And so this piece, it's a great two-piece. It features our lead alto saxophone, Braden Freshmill. This is a great chart. It's called Soulmate. as Mr. Williams said about some of the music that his band played, you're not going to hear many bands be able to play jazz waltz like that. It's very few bands play enough waltzes anyway, and to play it with that level of maturity is really a rare thing at the high school level. So please show the love of these wonderful students.